Captain's Log. November 28th, 2025. Hello, I'm Captain Vile. Good on you. You've made it to Friday. Give me a moment to stretch. Why didn't I do this before recording? I didn't have to stretch before recording. The feeling came as I was doing my intro. I was like, well, I might as well finish it, and then I can stretch. Whatever. Yeah, you're gonna have a... Still stretching now. There's one arm this time, did both. Now doing one. Do the other one individually. Decent. That was mainly my back. So that one. Interesting. Yeah, really good start to the audio-only show. Enjoy listening to this for the next 15 minutes. Oh, and Ooh, what luck. I also have to clear my throat. I'm gonna drink some water, though. Alright. I am quite glad that it is an end of the month show, a long show, because I have had quite a day. Before we get to that, I gotta remember Letterbox. What nonsense did Captain Vile watch this week? We talk about 2001: Space Odyssey? I think I did. Not, actually. Realizing it. I also didn't talk about Down by the Law. Really? It surprises me. Oh well. So I swear I watched Down by the Law. Or I talked about Down by the Law last episode. But it says I watched it November 16th, that's Sunday. No, I did. I did talk about it. Alright. So, 2001: A Space Odyssey. There was also, Legend. With the, Tim Curry. Didn't have time to watch that, though. So that'll be, again, next week. It seems each week I'm busy, though. So, there's some overlap. What the movie I'm going to be talking about, or a movie I watched this week, I talk about next week. A movie I watched last week, I talk about this week. Kind of thing. But, whatever. So, it was 2001: A Space Odyssey. I gave it 3.5 stars. And said, a bit long and a bit slow, but enjoyable, well edited and well shot. I liked Hal begging for his life in a monotone voice, as if he was informing someone about the ship maintenance. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah, good movie. Well, it's good visuals. The story is really more style than substance, and it's 2.5 hours of substance. But, or style. There's no substance. There's like half an hour of substance. And that's the bit where Hal is there. But it's a fine movie. Like, I talked about it last episode with the track. But oh well. So, you may be wondering, well, what on earth happened to you today, Captain Vile, that was so important that you want to talk ad nauseum for it? Well, this show, we may, now, no promises, but we may get the full hour. I've only ever gotten maybe 54 minutes. But this week, or this month, I don't know. Because, I don't know, maybe not, but I'm feeling fired up. So, yesterday, or I'll go through it chronologically. Yesterday, I ran out of bread and cereal. So, at the morning, or this is Thursday, I eat the last of my cereal, and then the afternoon, I have the last of my, sandwich. So, I'm like, okay, well, and I realized this because I kind of absentmindedly was like, I'm hungry, I'm going to make a sandwich. And it's just kind of autopilot, because you do the motion of making a sandwich like 5,000 times in your life. But anyway, and I realized, oh, I'm out of bread. Like, I used the last... I should have really noticed it earlier. Or I had noted, like, I made a note, oh, I have to get bread. But I forgot to get the bread. Like, I was preoccupied. Whatever. I was out of bread, and I realized this in the evening. And I was like, oh, that's a problem, because today I have class, or I had class, in the morning. And it's like, the store is currently closed, and it's going to open at 8 a.m. I have class at 9 a.m. So, in order for me not to be late and have lunch, I am going to have to wake up at 7 a.m. I know, what a Herculean task that is. Anyway, I have to wake up at 7 a.m. I can't have any breakfast. Like, I have to go get the breakfast. Wake up at 7 a.m., walk a mile to the store, buy my stuff, walk a mile home, and then leave at 7:40. By the time I get to the store, it'll be 8, and they'll be open. Then I go back, it'll be 8:20, and I have 10 minutes to make my lunch and breakfast, or to make my lunch and eat my breakfast. And then I leave at 8:30 to go to class. And then whatnot. Didn't have time for breakfast. Annoying intersection kind of thing. Crossing the street was a hassle because it's just, I don't know. There's this one poorly designed intersection on the road I live by where it's a gamble if you cross within a minute or within 5 minutes because the cars just get backed up and there's not a long enough pause that you could just, like, go across the street between cars without causing some kind of an accident, because someone would hit the brakes when they realized you were there, but you're already gone, so they didn't have to hit the brakes, and then they, like, brake check the guy behind them unintentionally, and it causes the whole thing. So it's just kind of very tedious to cross that particular street. Anyway. Didn't get breakfast, but I did get lunch. So I figure, alright, fine, there's vending machines at the school. I'll just have vending machine breakfast. I'd rather have vending machine breakfast, homemade lunch, than homemade breakfast and vending machine lunch. Only thing they had, anything they had with protein was peanut M&Ms, so I settled for those. And then I went to the lecture in the morning. So, at my lectures, it's the afternoon class and the morning class. Or there are two groups, the afternoon class and the morning class. I am in the morning class. But for the 9 a.m. lecture, they are mixed. Which means, obviously, I interact with the afternoon class. And in the afternoon class is Nick. And if you watch this show long enough, you will have heard me complain about Nick existing. This is because I hate him and he smells awful. Nick has absolutely zero friends because he smells awful. And refuses to shower, and he is disgusting. Anyway. Nick is attempting to weasel his way into a social interaction with my friend group and I by sitting at our table. So, Nick gets there before anyone else, and waits for other people to arrive, to stand by the door and wait for the teacher to unlock the door to let us all in. So we're basically forced to talk to Nick. That happened this time, obviously, but I'm jumbling ahead here. I didn't explain the start or how this is escalating anyhow. My friends and I sit at a table together, obviously, and Nick sits at the table with no one else on it, in the back of classroom, because everybody hates him, and he knows this. But lately, he has been sneaking his way onto other people's tables, or really just mine. So, he rushed to our particular table and sat down in hopes that we would not change course and sit down at the table with him. We don't do this, we just go to the table next to that table, so he's still alone and we're still together. But today, as we were, like, sitting down, he sat down at our table after we had already sat down, and there was a spare chair because someone was sick. So this is really only going to happen if Carlos is sick. Like I said, should I name drop him? I just did. It's like, oh, should I be... I don't like Carlo very much either. He deserves anonymity, but, like, whatever. Nick doesn't, though. Anywho. So now, I have to sit next to Nick for an hour and smell him. And I can't make light of the situation by, like, whispering to my friend, oh, I gotta sit with him, because Nick is right next to me. He's gonna hear that. So I just gotta deal with it. And then go to my workshop. Now, workshop was fine. So, we're doing a lighting exercise, and we're testing out these projector kind of things, where you put a disc with some shapes on it, and it affects the light that comes out of the projector, so it's like you can make it look like there are blinds. It's for creating shadows. And you can make it look like there are blinds to a window, or branches to a tree, or foliage to a forest, and whatnot, and it was a fine exercise. The specific way to put the disc onto the projector is a bit finicky. So much so that a girl broke it. So she got... How it works is there's a disc with some lines on it that look like something. But to get it onto the projector, it goes in a little box that gets slotted into the projector. So she had put the disc in the wrong way, so it came out of the box but got stuck in the projector. So to get it out, they'd need like some tweezers or something. But the trouble with the projector is it's on a light that's a really old tungsten light. So the more it's on, the more it heats up. So the disc itself is heating up. It's not going to be like a flame risk, but it's like you're trying to do a very precise, like, that's why it's so finicky to put it in and take it out, is because it's hot, and getting hotter by the minute. You need to wear gloves to handle it, and the gloves don't make you very dexterous, so obviously I don't quite entirely blame her for getting it stuck in there. It's bound to happen to anyone, so this is like our first time with it. But she got it stuck in such a way that we had to take a 15-minute break while the teacher got a technician who handles all, like, the gear to get it out of there. So that was kind of funny. Anyway, at this particular workshop, not too many people showed up, and one guy had to leave early because he's on, like, a sports team or something. So there were 5 people by the end of the class, because one left. And during this particular class, we were going to go... The lecturer wanted to go one by one and go over our, like, projects with us. But since there's 5 of us, that didn't take very long. And the really only thing he had planned was to fiddle with the projector, which he couldn't really do after it was broken. I say broken, that's hyperbole, but... like, we had to be a little more careful with it. And we'd gotten all the novelty out of it that we could. It's making shadows. You can do that with cardboard with a hole in it. It's not really something to fill 3 hours. So he just went, well, see you guys next week. And class ended an hour and a half early. So that's nifty. And with my extra hour and a half lunch break, in addition to my regular... So I had a 2.5-hour lunch break, which is a lot of time to fill. Granted, I probably could have actually gone home. But I take my lunch in the library, and I had to go to the bathroom. And I was like, I've got a lot of time on my hands, and I carry pens in my backpack. And decided, out of sheer boredom, I'm going to write a note on some toilet paper. Like, I took a roll... Not a roll. I took 2 squares of toilet paper. and then a pen, and then folded it so the pen wouldn't go through the toilet paper, and just wrote on the toilet paper, like that scene in Better Call Saul in the season 1 where he's finding out about the retirement home scheme. And this experience, by the way, what I wrote was like, I'll paraphrase because I don't quite remember the specifics, but it's like, howdy, I'm bored, so I'm writing this note. Reminds me of that scene from Better Call Saul. Did you know that World War II submarines are the only submarines that have top decks? Submarines don't have top decks anymore since World War II. And then I restated the fact from Better Call Saul. It's like, man, this is tedious. Jimmy doesn't get enough credit for having done that. Because he wrote more than, like, a square's information. No, he wrote, like, an entire letter. Multi-page letter. That's pretty impressive. It's tedious to do. If you've got a spare, like, 5 minutes, try and do that. Because it's annoying. But I just did that. Just because. And it's interesting, leaving a note that you'll never know the response to whoever found it. Because they're probably just going to be like, throw it away. Or maybe like a custodian found it and just threw it away or something. But I can only imagine the response that whoever found it had. I'm not going to go back and look and be like, oh, did they leave another note or something? No, I just for fun. I just hit a plate. Anywho. I have all of this written down. I'm looking through the log of the day. Anyway. I go about my lunch. I mainly just play Steam games on my computer or my laptop. And go over any notes from the lecture to prepare for the seminar. Now, at this seminar, I arrived 10 minutes early on accident because I didn't look at the time when I left. Because, like, it's such a long time. It's like, this is taking forever. I'm just going to go to the damn lecture. Or I'm just going to get ready to leave. I didn't check the time. I'm just going on assumptions, and I was 10 minutes off, so that's pretty impressive. Anyway. I arrived to the room 10 minutes early, so it's completely empty. And instead of being on my phone, I decided, what the hell? I'm going to just give a lecture to nobody. Which is the second time I've done this, by the way. I mean, I am giving a lecture to nobody right now. However, this is, like, I'm giving a lecture to nobody, but it will be listened to by, like, some people later when they're, like, trying to go to sleep or wanting to do homework or something. Like, this will be heard. The lecture in the in-person lecture, I've given 2, this one included, or this 10-minute early lecture included, just because I showed up to class way early and decided, hey, I've got a huge kind of room here. I can pretend to be a professional and talk about something funny. Or I can talk about something ridiculous in a serious setting, and that would be funny to me. Which it was. So the first lecture I did last year, quotes, I did last year about how Riddler was Batman's true nemesis instead of the Joker. And this one, I did on Penguins of Madagascar, focusing on the themes, and also honing in on how, like, poetic Dave's plan actually is. Having the penguins be, like, killed by the humans that once idolized them because now they aren't cute anymore. Because they didn't find him cute anymore. That's all I'll say on that. But it was 10 minutes, just improv, and I think I did a pretty good job. I'm not going to do it now, but cool to know that I could. Granted, I've seen that movie, like, 5 times, so I know it kind of inside and out. Apologies, just getting some water. Alright. And now we arrive at One of the most, I know I've been kind of speeding through this, but I'm gonna take some time on this one. So at the lecture, the real lecture by the professional lecturer, not a crazed man, to an empty room, this guy shows up out of nowhere. And apparently he is like put into our class. He was put in much later for some reason. He didn't walk in on me lecturing. I had concluded my lecture and sat down and just went on my phone to wait for the actual lecture to begin. And then this guy walked in. So at the very least, someone didn't walk in on me giving a speech to nobody or to an empty room again, because that happened last year. And let me tell you, the look on someone's face when they ask, "Who are you talking to?" and like, "What are you doing in here?" and you say, "I'm just giving a lecture to nobody," is a look of it's like concern, confusion, and pity. So it's not a look I'd like to receive again. It's mostly confusion, though, but there are hints of pity. Oh well. I digress. Guy I've never met before. I really want to emphasize that I had no idea who that man was when he walked into the classroom. This was our first time meeting. So we go through the seminar, business as usual, and then at the end of the seminar, when it's like everyone's packed up and we're all ready to go home now, the lecturer kind of gestures to this guy, whose name I forgot, and that fact is going to become really funny pretty quickly. And it's like, "Oh yes, yeah, I'll introduce you to this guy. He's joining the course again, or something." And it's like, "Oh yeah, nice to meet you guys. So the reason I'm not in the course is," and then he begins to just trauma dump. And I mean that literally. Like, I know that this is not an exaggeration. This guy says, "Oh yeah, I've not been in the course lately because 8 years ago, my father kidnapped my half-brother, and this year, the cops got him back, but he's really violent because he suffered years of abuse from our father. So to get away from my new abusive brother, I live with my grandfather, who has recently suffered a stroke." Now, back to my brother. So, he's playing a lot more Roblox lately, and that game, and the like problems keep getting more trivial. Like, he went from this, like, his brother was kidnapped and now is like violent, to his brother is playing Roblox, and Roblox is like getting under terrible management lately, apparently. And the last thing he said the last thing he says is, "Yeah, so I've also got a bald spot on the back of my head. It's starting to show up, and there's one in my beard, so I'm growing my beard out to try and like circumvent that." And it just kept going. This sounds very, very callous, but I just didn't care. And frankly, I was trying not to laugh halfway through it, because this guy, who I want to restate, I just met, is going on a multi-minute monologue just because the teacher gestured to his direction as like, "Oh yeah, this is him, and I'll see you guys now." And then he went into this huge, like, he'd been keeping this up like years. Like, this was his first social interaction in several months, and he just poured all that out. And yeah, it's really callous. I was trying not to laugh, but immediately after this, the teacher just kind of cleared their throat and was like, "Okay, would you two like to introduce yourselves And I was like, yeah, I'm Sawyer. And like he didn't know our names. He was doing that to complete strangers. And he also like plugged his Instagram. I don't think he has any friends. And he's like, yeah. He didn't write it down, but he spelt it out. He spelt out his username. I forgot it, but it began with the word active, apparently. He made a big point of that. It's just an odd experience. It's so peculiar and morbidly funny. Like I was gripping my thigh, trying not to laugh during that, because if I laughed, I think he would have picked up a chair and beat me with it. Which he probably would have been justified in doing, if I'm gonna be honest. But, like, I just had a sitcom day, man. Like, this is all stuff that would happen on a sitcom. And it all happened to me over the span of maybe 5 hours? Maybe not 5 hours. Yeah, no. But it's I'm just glad that this is a longer show where I can talk about all this. Funny enough, this would have been the entire show, or this not a normal one, because we would have been wrapping up right about now. But I still got some talking points. Well, I got one, but I can lead into multiple. But it's oh man. He like he tilted his head back and like lifted his beard to try and show the bald spot too. And oh my god. Oh. Oh. Oh man. I'm probably gonna meet him next week too. Like I'm probably gonna have one more interaction with him, and then it's like, cause he showed up at the end of like the semester. We're very close to just going on like winter break. We've got maybe 2 sessions left, and this guy shows up out of nowhere and gives me his life story. Well, me and like the other classmate, but the other classmate doesn't have a personality. So they didn't say anything. They honestly did not. They don't do anything during seminars, dude. The only word that he said during that 2-hour, excuse me, that's the water, 2-hour seminar was his name to the guy who just went on, I don't think I timed it, but it was like 4 minutes, maybe. I don't know. Probably a bit longer. You can probably, like, go through my explanation of it and be like, it's maybe that long. But that's the one word he said during the session. I don't, maybe he said goodbye to the lecturer and the guy. I didn't. I beelined for the door as soon as he, like, finished talking. I wanted to go home, man. I also needed to not laugh. I had to get out of the room as quickly as possible. I laughed about it on the way home. To the disturbance of everyone else on the sidewalk. Because it's like, what's this weird man is just giggling to himself. Which is, again, a better context to laugh in than just some guy you've just met trauma dumping on you. I sympathize. Like, it's terrible that all this is happening to him, but just save it for someone else, man. Okay. I've harped on about this for maybe 10 minutes. It's time to move on. It's just so good. Just out of nowhere. I didn't know. buddy, I didn't know you existed until 2 hours ago. And now I know I know a lot more than I was expecting to. Okay, next talking point. This is about yesterday. So I gotta have another drink of water. Because I just kept going on about the goddamn... Okay. Last week, I pitched my script. This week, we did a table read of my script, of the first draft, and generally people liked it. And there was... So, we got the notes back on our scripts. They said that my performance, for lack of a better word, was on point. And the idea for this film itself is also pretty good, but it is lacking in some places, and that did come up again during the table read of the finished script, or the finished first draft of the script, because I gotta edit it. I'll give you a brief synopsis. So, Gambler gets in debt, goes down to Sunken Casino to pay off Loan Shark with golden doubloons from Sunken Casino, and he's a greedy scumbag. And I'm not going to give you a synopsis. Actually, I'm going to save this. Maybe I want to animate this one year. So I'm not telling you the ending. But the main character is a bad person who only cares about themselves, because you should write what you know. But the main character is a bad person. There is an antagonist to the story, and he is an actual, like, villain. He's evil. But the main character is just barely better. Just a barely better person than the villain of the story. And the lecturers were all saying, people can't root for this guy. You gotta give him, like, some more side characters and some supporting characters, because right now you just got 2 characters, and that's all I'll say. But it is a 2-character story. And both the characters are terrible people. And that is because I like writing terrible people. I find it entertaining. I find it fun to, like, just create these abysmal monsters and just put them in situations. But I understand. Yes, you probably would enjoy a story a little more if you actually want the main character to succeed in some way. Instead of making the main character a greedy dirtbag, you should make him a down-on-his-luck guy who has a wife who he's trying to, like, support by getting rich quick and gambling or something, and that's how he gets in debt. And he's trying to get enough money to cover his debt and, like, support her or something. So I gotta make him sympathetic. But I don't want to make him sympathetic. I want to make him a bad guy. But it's the same thing. And that's in other stories. And I can write sympathetic characters. That's in the Golden God animation that's coming out soon. I'd say that's a pretty sympathetic family line. Hell, it's not just a character, just like a string of them. But when if you were to come to me with a blank page and say, Captain Vile, I want you to write me a short story about an intriguing character. I'm gonna full disclosure, I'm gonna write an evil monster. It was like, an interesting character, What about a factory owner who puts puppies in a blender? Then that's just what I'd write. And you'd be, what the hell is this? I wanted a character, I wanted, like, a lovable car salesman. I didn't want, like, a tycoon factory owner that method of making his product is killing animals. And it's like, you wanted an interesting character. That's what I gave you. Like, no, you gave me a reason to put you on a watch list. But I enjoy writing that kind of character. It's just not one most people enjoy reading. So, fine. Fine. This is how they get ya. They sand down my genius at the academy and then send me out with all these boring ideas. Like, likable, sympathetic character. Alright. Now that's as much rope as I'll be getting on this topic. That's all the length I'll get out of that. I mean, hell. The unexamined life is not worth living. Man, I am hot. It is hot in this room. Can I put my fan on? Maybe? I don't know. I don't want to... No. It's just because I'm moving around so much. I'm talking with my hands. I'm rotating in my chair. Why, oh why, do I enjoy these characters? I don't know, I suppose I always enjoy villains. I find them the most intriguing part of a story. But obviously they need a hero. Like, with Poseidon's Envy, that's the name of the script, as it is, it's two bad people, but one is worse than the other. They're bad from our frame of reference, being like, this is a greedy, egotistical moron who is trapped at the bottom of the ocean. But, like, we know that because, I don't know, we would, like, I wouldn't do that, that's stupid. Why would he go to the bottom of the sea? I should make him desperate. If you just write evil, evil, then that becomes like your neutral in your story. And it doesn't mean anything. Like, oh, Count Bloodbath set fire to the orphanage. More at 4, like he's, oh, again? But if you have Count Bloodbath, I don't know, pour chemicals into an Olympic swimming pool to make the water acidic somehow, after Jimmy Good Two Shoes handed out cupcakes for all the little boys and girls of the swim team, that makes the Count much more evil, because there's a clash. It's good and evil. It's not just evil all the time, because it loses meaning. You also can't have good all the time, because then it's just annoying and not interesting. And the evil all the time is interesting at first, but will quickly lose momentum and become, okay, well, what else? You got anything else? So, I'm gonna keep writing my evil monster characters, but I gotta keep an eye on how much I'm writing them, and then introduce people to beat the crap out of them for being evil monsters. Or they just go to prison and get the electric chair. Whichever I find funnier. Electric chair, maybe, if it's like a hard cut. No trial, just you're going to hell. Alright, now that is all I'll get from the talking point for realsies. Not last, when was this? This was a show I did earlier, a Captain's Log of Yesteryear. Yeah, that'll be true soon. New Year's is coming up. How long have I been doing this show? Oh! Oh my god, how did I not notice that? 52. This is the 53rd episode of Captain's Log. I've been doing this show for a whole year. Funny that. How did I not
Damn, I should have written that down. Last show was the year anniversary of Captain's Log, I think. Was it? No, that can't be right. Hang on. I think I'd remember that. Not like I remember the anniversary. I wouldn't remember that. But, like, last show is supposedly the 52nd episode.
Go to
channel. But that was my birthday. There's no way. There is no way. A riveting a year ago. No, November 1st. Alright. Alright. Just not like to comment on that one video. No, November 1st. Okay, we've been doing it for a year. But I don't know, that's so peculiar. I got sidetracked. Captain's Log. Story. Okay, so the last episode is when I did an improv story. I'm looking at the time. We're at 40 minutes, 41 minutes, and maybe 13 seconds. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, give or take 1 second. I tried to, this recording session, go right into it as soon as I hit record. Normally I have like a 30 seconds or so build up of like preparing a talking point, but now I had it all written down. But I don't know if we're going to get the full hour, because we only got 27 minutes, or half an hour? No, 27 minutes from the my day, and then 10 minutes, maybe, from my, like, script. But maybe I should come up with a story. I mean, I don't know. What the hell? Yeah, sure, I'll come up with a story. I don't know if it's going to have any, like, theme, because I was going for, like, this story's got a message. Last time I did an improv story, so I'll do one this time. What the hell? I did it in the woods. Let's do it in space. Let's do, alright, a story in space. Once upon a time. Alright, go into this. No, it's an improv story, Captain. Come on. Once upon a time, there was a planet. The planet was entirely red, or so it seemed from the outside, because in reality, everyone on that planet was incredibly paranoid. So, at the poles of this particular planet, steel beams were erected that pierced the heavens, and a generator was set atop each one. And then, along the equator of that planet, more beams were set up, and more generators. And a switch was thrown, which generated a force field, which met at these steel beams, around the entire planet, protecting from outside attack. It also protects from meteorites and whatnot. Or asteroids? It's asteroid. Asteroid is the one in space. Meteorite is the one that falls. I guess it would be meteorite. Whatever. That's an unintended side effect. They mainly intended to protect from invasion, because everyone is entirely paranoid. So, everyone in the planet is safe, but they're probably gonna get cancer because the rays are shooting down on them. So that's not going to be good for them in long term. But they're paranoid. That is fear in, like, yet to come. Fear of something yet to come. But whatever. That's no backtracking. Everyone on the planet has cancer. That's the cost of safety. And everything alive will eventually get cancer if it's alive long enough. So that's just speeding it up. Anyhow. In the outside world, they think that this planet, this red, in quotes, planet, is actually a sun. And because red sun, hang on, This is gonna affect the story. Hang on. Red sun. Brief pause for research. Red sun means what? That's when it's gonna turn into a black hole, right? Transmission rule, version rally. Is that's a no, that's new, right? I forgot. I'm a science man. When is a sun red? No, like in space, not in like sky. Okay, the story. I'm not thinking of anything. Shut up! Shut up! Oh my god! Sunrise and sunset. Shut up! What causes? All right. This is. Why is this so hard? Red sun. That's. Oh my god! That's just a movie. Well, this sucks. Okay, you know what? They were able to make a goddamn force field around their planet. Red sun means black hole. So, ironically, everyone in the planet that set up the defenses has kind of sealed their doom. Because they're like, the universe is like, okay, this, like, red sun just popped out of nowhere. That's a problem. Okay, I'm gonna go with that black hole angle, because I don't think that's true at all. But anyway, like, it just popped out of nowhere. We gotta get rid of that. That's probably gonna be evil. So, multiple planets came together. Their scientists came together on an artificial planet that could travel between the planets and house them, and construct even more artificial planets. And over several generations, they built 5 more artificial planets with tractor beams on them, or gravitational beams on them, and they move over to the supposed sun, and they all surround it at different angles, but at equal angles, and they move it. And they move it into a black hole. No backtracking. They move it into a black hole. And it's automated, so no one's on the planets. The artificial planets. And everyone on the supposedly red planet immediately died. They just instantly died. Because of their desire to be alive. Or their desire to be safe. Well, actually, the story is over. Now it's time for the analysis of the story. If it was generations and generations to build the artificial moons or planets to move the force field planet, then the population of that planet is just kind of screwed over for being born. Like, that was something that their great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents did out of fear. And it sure came back to bite them. But, I mean, their great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, or whatever one I said, got theirs in the form of radiation. So, they had it coming, I guess. But each generation that came after the one that built the force field never once thought to turn it off. So there's also that. So maybe there is a little bit of blame in terms of the force field planet. Maybe just a little. So we are now coming up to 50 minutes after god-awful story time with Captain Vile. I tell you, what if I just read Wikipedia? Can I do that? What's a short article? Because I always wanted to do that. Have you ever read, what was it, the 4th National Olympics? That's a Wikipedia article. Go on Wikipedia. You can do shuffle, right? Just give me an article. Give me a random article. Your language. Can I do a shuffle? English. Welcome to Wikipedia. Today's featured article. In the news, did you know? On this day... No, I don't want to do on this day. There's no... excuse me. I want to do a random one. Here. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to type 4 letters and see what autocorrect gets me. JSBI, which is... it's the top one is Japanese Society for Bioinformatics. Japanese Research Society. This is a pretty short one. So, here! The Japanese Society for Biomedics, or JSBI, or that's exactly what I typed in, is a Japanese research society on the subject of bioinformatics and computational technology. Established in 1999. The society is affiliated with the regional group of the International Society for Computational Biology, or ISCB, and a member of the Association of Asian Societies for Bioinformatics, AASBI. Supporting corporate members include the Japanese companies Hachi, Fujitsu, and Shionagi. I believe I said that incorrectly. Since 2001, the JSBI and Oxford University Press have awarded the Japanese Society for Biomedics for Outstanding Young Scientists in Bioinformatics. Well, that was a rather short one. There's just a lot. There's more references than the, 2 paragraphs I just read. They're longer. Okay, I guess there's presidents, but, that's just Captain Vile reading Japanese names incorrectly. Okay, that one was a bust. Let's get a good one. Let's try something with a Z at the beginning. So, you have the choice Z, and then blank, blank, blank. Okay, I accidentally must have hit 2 at the same time, because I got Z, JB, GK. So let's search that. Delete. Delete. Wait, hang on. ZJG is actually something? What the hell? What is... Lists of airports in Manabota? From... Redirect from ZJG. This is an article on Canadian airports. List of airports in Manabota includes all NAV Canada certified registered water and land airports, aerodomes, and heliports in Canadian province of Manitoba. Airport named in italics part of the national airport system. What the hell? Damn, Wikipedia really has everything. If you want to know about where the airports are in specifically this part of Canada, then you certainly got it. This is not much of a story. I'll save the reading of the 4th National Men's Olympics, or hang on, what was it? Just 4th National Olympics Marathon. Marathon. Is it not? Hang on. Oh damn, I must have gotten the wrong. I've been talking about the wrong one. But there is a crazy Olympics. Marathon at the Summer Olympics. I think this was it. No, this wasn't it either. Maybe it was men's marathon. Because it was specifically just only men, because it was in the 1920s or something. But 554. Mainly because I kept going down. I kept trying to go down some Wikipedia rabbit holes, but the rabbit holes were closed. They were shut down. They caved in on me. I couldn't get a single rabbit. A sorry day indeed. Oh well. Maybe next week. I wonder if I'll make that in movies and Wikipedia, type in 4 random letters. See what we get. I don't know if 4 random letters is good. I think we gotta type in a word. and pick what because I want to find something interesting to read. I don't want to find like okay, maybe I pull up Wikipedia one more time. Just maybe one more. Just one. They should add a shuffle button, man. Why did I not have a shuffle button? Man, can I do random article? Random article here. Wikipedia, random Wikipedia. Display random page article. Okay, there we go. This is a random article. This is a Wikipedia article on Abdul Hajj, who is seems to be an American football player, who is still alive and was born in 1982 in the Virgin Islands. All right. Well, this isn't anything wacky. This is just some guy who I've never heard of's life. So, it is a pretty hit-or-miss strategy, I will admit, but I'm going to stick to it for next show, because it's another form of gambling. Captain Vinyl found a way to gamble on information. I'll always find a way. That is something that is a safe bet, is Captain Vinyl will find a way to bet. Anyway, look at that. We finally cracked 5.4 minutes. Might even be able to crack an hour. Put this Wikipedia article to the test. Come on. We can totally get the hour. All right. Wiki random. Let's get a good one this time. Random article. Radonia is a massive situated in the Albanian Alps. This is just some territory. Pretty short article as well. Just 2 paragraphs. Maybe we should do another one. 2000. This is a recent, to a degree. 2021 North Denmark regional election. This is some politics, huh? What the hell is the Danish People's Party? The Red Green Alliance. There's no red on that logo. That's orange. Red Green Alliance. The Red Green Liars, more like it. The Green Left, which is pink. The New Right, which is navy blue. Venstre. Now that is blue, so it's not green, but it begins with a V. And they also didn't win, I think. Last election one was 11 seats. Wait, hang on, no, 18 seats. So they got second place. Well, whatever. What the hell? Manipulations? There's a bunch of these. Stram Kurs. The Communist-isk Party. The Communist-isk Party. Okay, Denmark. Are we gonna really crack an hour because Captain Vial is marveling at the Denmark political parties because their names and logos don't mean any, like, the Danish People's Party is a B or an O that's yellow. The Red Green Alliance again is orange, and the Green Left is an F that's pink. So, you guys are liars. Alright, new article. Hang on. I'm gonna click a new article when it goes to an hour, which is in 50 seconds. So I got 50 seconds to fill, so I'm gonna fill it with one more story, alright? One more for you loyal violent, you listening to this for the full hour, which is now gonna be 30 seconds of an actual story. So, it's about a top hat. It is about a top hat constructed out of the worst silk you have ever heard of, you ever felt. It's veritable sandpaper. Well, a magician put his hand in this top hat, and he pulled it out only to find he had it was pouring blood everywhere because he had cut his hand on the top hat and he bled to death on stage. And we're coming up on 1 hour, folks. And bing! Let's see what the article was. Kristen Sevaldsen, born 10th of January 1966 in Lillehammer, Norway, is a Norwegian jazz musician, composer, and music producer, and he plays the saxophone. He's got some solo albums, he's got some references, and he's not that, oh, my apologies, she is not that interesting. Well, I hope that you appreciated the hilarious hat story, because, I don't know, we cracked an hour, that's pretty impressive, and I'm not going to rely on Wikipedia article polls as much for the next show, but hey, this show, we at least got an hour. So that's an hour of your time I've taken up. Go spend it doing something more productive. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Stay tuned to Gotham FM.